Well, it's that time of the year again, and you're looking for the perfect gift or something a little nice for yourself. Your budget is about $50 or $60, and you're wondering what's the best that gets you. Well, I'm Norb, your audiophile pal, and you are in the right place to find that out. I'll be covering both wired and wireless earbuds, headphones, and a little bit extra so you can buy with confidence. And let's be clear, even at this level, you can absolutely find great quality stuff. Before we start, a few quick notes. Every price I mention here is suggested retail, so if you look hard, you'll probably be able to find them even cheaper. I'll touch on this whenever I can. I've also linked everything I mentioned here in the comments below. I do make some commission from those, so just a heads up. Finally, I've done a couple of other gift guides at different price points, and I'll link to those at the end of the video. With that, let's get started. First, I'll start with earbuds, or IEMs if you're fancy like that. My favorites this year at this price point have been the Truth Ear Critical Zero Red. These come in at $55, although I've seen them as low as $48. For that, you get incredibly well-tuned IEMs with great response and resolution, detail, and clarity thanks to its dual dynamic setup. By default, these sound neutral with a light bass, but you can boost them using the included 10 ohm adapter, which is a really nice touch and helps turn these into some of my favorite sets to listen to. I just recently finished a video on the Zero Red, which I'll link above my head and in the description below. Moving on to wired headphones, these are the Koss Porta Pros, and they have been probably the biggest surprise to me this year. I have completely fallen in love with their sound. I think they're great for the price. They normally retail at $50, although I see them all the time for about $35. For that, you get a pair of open back headphones that give you just top tier fantastic sound for the price. The sound is slightly warm while still being clear and detailed. The bass is present, but it is never overpowering, and I found the sound signature to be comfortable for long listening sessions. Good presence, technical without being exhausting, all good stuff. But if you're going to be listening to these for a long time, I would also recommend picking up a pair of Yaxi ear pads, which make these much more comfortable to wear. These will run you an additional $12 or so. The only real complaint that I have about these is their build feels like something out of the 80s, including the thin little cable here, but like all Koss products, they come with a lifetime warranty, so you're covered if something happens. There are two models, the one with a microphone and one without. The one with the microphone is about $10 more, but the mic on these isn't all that good, and I would not spend the extra money for that. I'd just go ahead and grab the one without the microphone and deal with it. If you need something slightly cheaper, both the Koss KPH40 and the Koss KSC75 make for great gifts. Again, link to everything down below. Now, if you're going to use either of these with your phone and your phone does not have an audio jack, which most phones these days don't, you're going to need an adapter. For that, I highly recommend Apple's dongle, which comes in either USB-C or Lightning, and which I talked about in my budget guide, because these are just $9 and most people will not need anything more than this, unless if you're planning on buying higher end headphones eventually, which very often require more power to get the best sound out of them, or if you just want something that will help you get the best sound out of your computer, or if you just want something that makes things louder, then you will want a solid DAC app combo like the iFi GoLink dongle. iFi did send me this for a review, which I will link above my head and in the description below, but spoiler alert, I loved it, which is why I added it to this list. iFi did not sponsor any part of this video. This $60 dongle is a combo DAC and amp, which delivers up to 32-bit sound at 384 kilohertz, and it handles DSD256 and MQA, so it's way more capable than the Apple dongle, especially if you use services like Tidal or Qobuz, but again, most people are not going to need that. The audiophile in your life will 100% appreciate it, however. Now, the downside with this is that it is output only, so you can't use it with microphones, but this has enough power to drive just about any headphone you are likely to be using with your phone. If you're finding this useful, please be sure to hit that like button and consider subscribing. And if you think I've done an extra good job, feel free to hit up the tip jar below. Moving on to wireless earbuds, at $50, you actually have a ton of really great options. The ones that I've enjoyed the most here, and it's entirely due to their sound, are the SoundPeats Engine 4. SoundPeats did send me these for review, and I'll link to that video above my head in the description below, but SoundPeats did not sponsor any part of this video. I just really like these. The Engine 4 retail at just $60, but I normally see them on sale for about $50, which is why I wanted to include them on this list. These don't have a ton of features, but the features that they have are top-notch, including Bluetooth 5.3, adjustable EQ via the app, IPX4 water resistance, and 43 hours of playtime when you include the case. The real selling point is the dual dynamic driver, which is similar to what the Zero Red that I mentioned earlier has. This gives them extra clarity while letting them push out accurately represented mids and some decent bass. But with the app, you can EQ these to taste, which makes them a fantastically good sound bargain. These also use the LDAC codec, which should make a lot of Android users super happy. They also have an insane 12.5 hours of playtime. With the case, it's 43 hours total. What you don't get, however, is extra features like active noise canceling or transparency, because these are just about the sound, and the sound is great. Again though, you have a ton of really great options in this space, and while I haven't touched on either Soundcore or Edifier products, they're definitely worth exploring in addition to Soundpeats. Speaking of Edifier, the best sub $50 headphones that I've used have got to be the Edifier WH700NB. These sound shockingly good for the price. Clear, but with a consumer-focused tuning that's great for pop music and electronic, but still warm enough for things like jazz and classical. They only handle the SBC codec, and if you don't know what that means, I've done a video about that which I will drop in the description below. But in short, you'll be able to use it with pretty much any phone or computer, and the sound should be the same coming from each source. And since these don't have an audio jack, Bluetooth is the only way you're gonna get sound into these. Edifier also includes an app which lets you turn active noise canceling on or off, lets you select transparency mode and how much transparency you want, and lets you select one of 4 EQ settings. Seriously, having active noise canceling and adjustable transparency at this price just blew me out of the water. They have up to 68 hours of battery life with noise canceling off, which is just insane. It's 45 hours, by the way, with noise canceling on. And they also have a quick charge of 8 hours of music with 10 minutes of charging. Now again, that's with noise canceling off. And they're ridiculously comfortable. They do run a little large though, so don't get these for people with smaller heads. Also, you can take calls on them, but the microphone is not very good, so I don't recommend them if you're going to be making a lot of phone calls. Despite this, I don't know that I've experienced a better value at this retail price. Edifier is a solid brand name, so if you decide to go with something else, you can be sure that they back their products. Finally, there's the Soundcore Life Q20. Retail price on these varies, but you can usually find them for under $50, which is why I included them on this list. These have a solid build, they're comfortable, they include noise canceling, they have a decent consumer-focused sound with 3 different EQ modes. They also include a 3.5mm audio jack, which means that you can listen to them passively by plugging them into your computer or your phone. They also have a 40-hour battery life, which makes them a good travel companion. That all said, while these are great, they are a little bit older, and if you're considering them, you should really think about the Soundcore Life Q30 instead, which has a lot more features for just a few dollars more. Well, there you have it. My recommendations at around $50, but definitely under $60. Now, I hope you found this useful, and if you did, please be sure to hit that like button and maybe consider a tip. Now, if your budget is a little bit higher and you're looking for something a little bit extra, or if it's a little bit lower and you need something more budget friendly, I've also done a couple of other gift guides that you might find useful, one at around $100 and the other one at around $25. Be sure to check those out. And with that, I hope you have a fantastic holiday. Cheers.